Okay, so today we are in a new video, analysis of hands that I played in my last session of MTT. I hope you can learn from my mistakes, and I hope you can learn also from my what I find in this video. And let's go right into it. Okay, let's dive in already in this first hand. I have several hands on the side here that I want to analyze again. And this hand is the first hand that I put on the side. What is interesting with this hand is just that depending on how tight you think your opponent is, sometimes you can decide to fold here. But I would say you can fold with lesser pocket pairs, probably pocket fives, pocket six, pocket seven. But this one was interesting because I wanted to see how close the EV was of the call or the 4-bet jam, I would say, here for this spot. Because what does the opponent normally is supposed to, what is he supposed to 3-bet, and what will he 3-bet in real life, in the real spot. So first thing when I want to analyze this spot, I want to analyze a bit more about my opponent. So I want to find out if I have any information on his profile. If you want to use PogStat, I have a discount link. You can find it on my Discord, or otherwise just ask me for the discount link in the comments, and I will give it to you. So yeah, with this type of player, he seems to play a low average buy-in, so probably in general a bit scared compared to the other players. But otherwise, there's no real mistakes in how he plays. He has a low re-entry, so it's okay. So it explains why he doesn't have that much of a field beaten, which is not that impressive. Normally, big players have between 57, 58% on Winamax. So here, just what I want to say is that I cannot, from the stats, I cannot say if he is going to be really tight in this spot or not. So what I want to refer right now is just to try to understand what is the differences in EV in this spot. So for this one, I will just check. So for this spot here, if I open UTG, so it's a PKO just after the bubble. So 10% field left, something like this. And I want to see, if I analyze those spots, I want to see, really understand what is the differences in the strategy, if in the differences in EV. So we can take, for example, this spot, which seems quite interesting. The bounty probably will be close to the bounty that I have right now. So here, if we face a 3-bet, so for example, first of all, the 3-bet that he did was quite expensive. So it means he will be more inclined to be in the tight side of his range. But you can really see that normally pocket 8 is not close at all. Even pocket 5s and pocket 6 like to rejam. 35 big blinds per 100 is a lot. So if we compare to what he should 3-bet here, what is the range that he should really 3-bet? Do you think that he will not 3-bet those low A6 suited and some king, queen off and all those hands? I think he will do in general. So yeah, I think looking at this range and looking at this profile, I would say that I made the correct decision to rejam. And it's really important just to have it in mind, to try to understand. After you played your session, try to see all the spots where you weren't sure of your decision and to see how close they were or not. A video that I watched this morning on a really good professional, Yuri Peleg. He talked about really finding all the spots where there's low numbers of big blinds to win. If you have like a 600 big blind spot, he plays a lot of cash game. So if you have 600 big blind spot and on the river, the solver says 3 big blind decision, you shouldn't really stress too much about the decision that the solver gets you, the answer that the solver gets you. But you should really take into account the big picture of, okay, 3 big blinds, it will probably be offset by other decisions that they took before. So for example, if they chose to be a bit wider in their range at the flop, it will make a huge difference on the river. So if it's always close, really try to take a pinch of salt, or otherwise just to be a bit light on your assumption that you have the correct decision and that you have a correct play if you call a 3 big blind in the spot. So yeah, just to check here, it's not close at all. If the player just 3 bets here, even if it makes a big sizing, you have quite an easy jam normally with pocket 8. And just the only thing that you have to make sure is that he has enough 3 bet in position. And that yeah, he chooses the right option. You can see here. No, it's not. Is it in this place? Yeah, normally he doesn't have too many 3 bets in this position, but it's just because in the sim you can see he covers everyone behind. I have to move a bit my camera, but you can see in the sim he covers everyone behind, so it makes sense in the sim to not have any 3 bet size. But here there's Jan who has a big stack behind, so there will not be any direct jam. Another spot that I put on the side, one of the only, there was 2 spots that I put post flop, and the others were pre-flop mainly. So this one is a trilogy 50 euros. We open here from low jack, which seems quite normal. And now we have a decision. We have a flat for first. Just here 7-8 suited. If the players that I'm facing are quite competent, quite good. Some of the time I will fold this hand pre-flop. It really depends on how I think they will defend, how they think. I will think they will 3-bet and put pressure on me. But if I chose this spot, is that I was quite confident that I could realize my equity post flop, because this hand really wants to realize its equity post flop. So yeah, I will show you a bit some profiles. You can see, yeah, so well, we don't have many hands. Normally I don't try to make too much guess if I have less than 1000 hands, but yeah, you can see that he doesn't for now he didn't show too much strength. Check here, we have a pure check. 4 ways. I would advise in general not to bluff too much. And here, yeah, here I had 2 decisions on the turn. And when I really see this spot again, I think I would have preferred to jam, because the board is so dynamic. A queen or king will often slow down the action, and a heart will also slow down the action on the river. Plus, I have a big bounty, so we'll be more inclined to call me on the turn. So I really think that jamming here is the best option in my shoes, and that I didn't choose the best option here. So it's really also important to look again at your games and to analyze them, because you will find that even in the things that seem normal, you may have made some mistakes before. So yeah, so in this case, I have a tough decision on the river. I don't think my opponent values less good than my hand. Probably he values the exact hand of my exact same strength as my hand. Probably 8x will value, but he will not value under this. He will not value top pair and all that. Or I don't think so. I don't think. But the main mistake that I did on this hand was at the turn. I should have jammed on the turn. So facing this river bet, yeah, and just in these cases, if you made a mistake before, just try to focus on solving the mistake before, and don't try to compensate by doing another good play after on the river. So here, just jam on the turn here, I would tell myself, and on the river, the spot is too. I don't think it's really. If you have a different point of view on this one, please leave a comment. But I think it's in those spots, if you made the mistakes before, just try to make sure that you don't make the mistake before. And normally the spot will not happen again, because you will not find yourself in this line. Okay, another one that I put on the side, King Queen off. Those ones are really interesting. I really want to understand. In those PKO spots, how much do you want to 3-bet here in small blind? I would say here king queen off will always be a 3-bet, but probably the thing that I was curious about. Sometimes I just put stuff on the side, spots on the side, because I'm just curious about what my hand wants to 3-bet here. And if I'm covered, I want to see a bit about the frequency of the 3-bet. And so if I can find a spot here where I'm covered, I can find one here. You can see here that the big blind, the bounties were 10 big blinds. And in the reality here, how much is my bounty worth? So we have the starting bounty. I will do all the calculations for you. So it's worth 5,000 divided by 500. Yes, it's worth 11 big blinds, so we are almost to the same value. So here in this spot, not if fold here. Which sizing do I want to choose, and how much of a call of a 3-bet is it? And here we can see it's the same EV. So for the field in general, I would say it's better to 3-bet. But it really depends if you think the opponent's range is too tight. So here his range should be quite tight because he opens against a player that covers him quite frankly quite a lot. But at the same time, we are still in the early game, so he can still try to open not to reduce his range too much, because he will not be punished as much as in late game where there's ICM pressure and other factors to take into account. So yeah, if there's the same EV here, I would have preferred to 3-bet here. And I really see that in those spots, it's still 7 big blinds that you win on those spots. So you should really take those spots to rejam here. Another one that was really close, so I thought it was really close. Facing a jam here, 14 big blinds, I can check two ways. First, I will check a bit what the theory wants to do in this play, in this spot. And after, I want to see, because I want to see the range, theoretical range that he should jam here. And after, I will take into account if it's close enough to the reality, then I will don't have to double check. If it's far from the reality, then I will double check with Equilab and try to implement his actual range that I think he jams. So what do I think he plays here? I think he plays like probably sorry, I have to implement here what he jammed. So it's a cutoff jam, 14 big blinds. I can find 15 big blinds, which is not too far. So if I open here and he jams, what should I call here in the low jack? So queen jack off is always a fold, and it's also losing a lot of money. But what I'm most interested in, it's not a PK spot. It will make a huge difference here because the bounty will reduce the range. But if it's a fold in bounty, with the bounty, it will be really normally an easy fold here. It should lose even more. We'll see if it does in fact lose even more. Yeah, it loses 2 times more than before, or almost 3 times more. So it's really not a close call. And what does he want to jam? Yeah, it's the same thing that I thought in the real game. Is which hand does he jam that are undermined? And here there's almost none, or at least none. There's no queen 10 off that jams. There's no sorry, jack 10 off that jams. There's no those hands don't jam. So this is often a sign that it's a fold. Like it's a really I would say it's the easiest way to understand if you are close or not. But it doesn't work if you are really a short stack, because you will have to call with more. You will have more equity. And you will be required to have less equity, sorry, and you will have more equity against this range in general. So if you are lower stack, you don't want to think the same way. That's just what I want you to say here. So here it's quite an easy fold, and I was right to say that there was no other combinations normally that are undermined that will jam. Probably often most players don't jam as much as theory. So if it's a fold in theory, then it would be an easy fold. Here I had an interesting spot. I wanted to put it on the side. So here we have a big bounty on the opponent. So if we take into account that we are at the start of the tournament, so his bounty is worth 7 big blinds. And when his bounty is worth 7 big blinds, I will show you with Equilab here. Even if you put a tight range, I think it will always be a call here. I will always have the equity. So first, I will just do the calculations of the equity that I need. So I need to add 8.5 in a pot that will do 8.5 plus 11.1 plus, sorry, plus 7 big blinds. I did 7 big blinds was the bounty, I think. So 26, so I have to add 8.5 into 26.6. So I need 30, 31, 32%. And against a range all in 82, I should always have a 33% with 8-3 suited with a suited hand in general. So here, what should it jam? It should jam quite wide. I'll put it here. Sorry. You should jam here, here, all those hands. King 5 off. Often those hands should jam also. Maybe not every player will jam all the way, but he should jam quite a lot here. Here, a lot of hands, a lot of a blocker, I would say, or at least have a high card in his hands, in his hand. Yeah, here I'm really making a tight range, and we'll see. I think even with a tight range like this, it will always be a call. So sometimes the best way is to do several scenarios. So you do like a pessimistic scenario where you think that he will not jam enough. And here you can see even with a pessimistic scenario, with a scenario, sorry, that I will show you here. You can see on the side. I have 44%. If I put a pessimistic range, I say that he doesn't jam a lot, that it's really tight, then you will always have 33%, which is more than 32%, which is required. So here it's an easy call. It can really be counterintuitive. If you miss the spot, you can just comment which type of spot you miss the most. So I can make maybe a video specifically on those spots. But here you can really see that it's important to not miss those spots, because they will they will stack up in the long term. And if you miss them, then you will always miss those interesting spots. Here, I don't remember what I did on the flop. I think I checked turn, and I was contemplating, do I want to second barrel on those cards on a 4? So 4 is often, probably most often than not, a card that is not changing a lot about. It's a brick. So in a brick at the turn, often you are supposed to be a bit more polarized, so bigger sizing. But yeah, and does he have a lot of hands that connect? So I only see bet. I check the turn. Does he have a lot of hands that connect the flop, which or other hands that miss? But most of the hands that miss have a 10 in his hand, like 10-9, Queen 10. I can find all sorts of 10 hands. Queen 10. Jack 10 has something. 10-9, probably, maybe 10-8 sometimes, but only suited to the color of one of the draws. So yeah, probably I will try to call a bit more those spots. When I check turn, it doesn't have, or at least he doesn't have too many 7-8 suited. So he has some king X's and some 2 pairs better, but he shouldn't have too many 7-8, or at least less than in the spot where maybe a double barrel. But even if I double barrel, he cannot call with other than 7-8 of diamonds. So I will call next time in this spot, I think. Yeah, you can tell me in the comments, do you want to call in those spots, or you want to prefer to fold after you checked on the turn? here it was an interesting spot. The bounties worked a lot. So on this tournament, the starting stack was 100k. So you have to make all the adjustments for the bounty. And so if the starting stack is 100k, you have to multiply this value by 5. So the bounty is worth in chips, 27,000 chips at the start of tournament. So it's 27 big blinds. And so if we have, so I saw that this player was a bit too degen, so he really liked to rejam a lot and often with hands that weren't good enough. So against him, I decided to call here on this spot, even if I opened first of position. Because really the spot is, I think is, yeah, I can make all the calculations, but here it's always the same thing, and I saw this spot a lot. So here, if you take into account that you will take all the pocket pairs that are underneath, you will always often have like 50% or, yeah, you will have 50% against the low pocket pairs. And the other parts of this range, you will always have like probably between 25 and 30%. So here it's quite an easy call because the bounty is worth too much. Like 27 big blinds is a lot. So I made the call, and I think this is a really good call. This hand was really important, really interesting. I checked on the flop because it was multi-weighed. I remember there was gammas also in the spot. I opened and there was 2 calls, so call of gamma, call of red John. And on the river, I faced all in after. So red John decided to do a half pot on the turn, and the river decided to jam. And it's quite polarized when he jams turn. He's telling me river. Sorry, he's telling me he has an 8. And what are his natural bluff? Probably maybe he had like 8-10 on the turn or so, but he doesn't have that many bluffs that didn't that are not in on the river. That I didn't sorry, so bluff turns that are now value on the river. So when I see this hand, when I thought in this hand into when I thought about this hand when I was in my game, I thought that my hand had some good properties to call in this spot. But when I see this spot again now, I think it's quite an easy fold because most of his bluff come true with this 6 on the river. And also he bet turn. He took the lead turn on a queen, which is more into my range. I can still have like pocket. I can still have pocket queens here to call, and I will always also c-bet a lot. I will delay c-bet on the turn with if I have a queen. So when he decides to donk and or at least to lead a turn multi-way and to overbet jam on the river, he will probably be way unbalanced with his value range here on this spot. Hand that was interesting. Normally, if you are a bit more stacked, you are supposed to 3-bet those hands, or it really generates a lot of EV to 3-bet those spots here out of position, because it's a marginal call, but a 3-bet size that is often interesting. But I wanted to understand, does jamming here when you are that deep makes a lot of sense, yes or no? And so here in this spot, we are close to the bubble, so probably 16 percentage of the field left. And facing an open from a player that is that short, most often than not, his range should be quite tight. So his range should be quite tight, but at the same time, we have a blocker against his best hands, and he should always also fold a big portion of his range. So you can see here that in this spot, the solver tries to say that it's the same EV for all options. And that's why I decided to jam in this spot. And I was really curious about what was the EV of each decision in this spot. It's incredible to see how much he jams with those connected hands. It's incredible in those spots. So yeah, in this spot it's really interesting, and you can see that he really likes to jam quite heavily, and it's the same EV as the other options. So it's a good jam. I think it's a good jam, and I will take it often than not, and all the low ace suited also he loves to jam because you make him fall normally all the ace you make him fall if you jam ace 2 off, you make him fall normally ace 3 off, ace 4 off, ace 5 off, ace 6 off, and you still have some equity against his calling range. So those are some really good arguments in general to jam in this spot. King 5 off here against an aggressive player. I wasn't sure about this one. So I've studied a lot of those spots recently in spins, and it's probably the same conclusion as spins here. So it depends a bit on the player how he's capable of jamming, because I think those spots are quite close. So we'll try to find a bit more about this spot. So if we can just ask on Jitter Wizard. So if he jams for 10 big blinds effective, we can find a spot here. So here I'm a bit more than 10 big blinds. Oops, sorry. And you can see that he folds quite linear, King 5 off. Can I find another spot where we are, yeah, maybe we are less deep. Can I find another spot here, not 11 big blinds deep? Yeah, but I'm 11 big blinds deep in this spot, so it's okay. Because what you have to take into account is that in the Trident, you have less antes because you have less players per table. So compared to a player, a play where you have 8 players on the table, you should call a bit tighter. And here you can really see that 11 big blinds deep is quite an easy fold. Because it's a fold 8 max, it will always be a fold 3 max here. Okay, so I made the correct fold. I took this spot twice. One of the last spots here, it was on the stone bubble. Stone bubble, so this spot doesn't happen a lot. And this one, I really wanted to analyze it. So this one, I will put it on the side directly. I will send it to someone that help me solve the most important spot, the spots that are the most critical. And yeah, really interesting spot here. And those spots often they you cannot find them or are not as precise as if you ask directly on the HRC, which is spot that allows you to sim the spot exactly. So I will sim the spot exactly, and after I will have the answer exactly. So I will have to send the spot to analyze this one, to analyze. And if you have any clue on what is the correct answer, please let me know in the comments. We can discuss about it. But it's really interesting to see if it's a good call or not. Yeah, and now the last hand, the last spot that I wanted to analyze, that I put on the side. Here, what do you want to jam in those spots when you have 3 players that are 20 big blinds deep behind you? How much do you want to jam? There's not so much ICM because we are just after the bubble and it's a huge field. Do you want to jam a lot on those spots? Yes or not? And for that, I will have to check. Can I find a spot like this? Those ones are really difficult to find on the Jitter Wizard. So I can really try. Maybe I can try to find, but it's not going to be easy. I can try to put a button with 20 big blinds and find other players also behind that have 20 big blinds. And then I will, no, I cannot find any spot. So I will have to think about this one on the side. I've seen many sims that where you jam, this one is like an easy jam on the button. And now that I cover every player plus there's bounty in play, I would say that this one is a good jam. I don't want to really open call against those range because they will probably crush or no, it will always be an open call that will be a bit too close. So here I really like the option of jamming. Okay. But that's it for today. If you liked this kind of video, please leave a like, leave a comment also if you have any questions on any hands. If you want to go deeper and you want me to help you in your game, personally, then you can click the link in the description to work with me. And yeah, otherwise, I will find you in another video, and see you. Bye bye.